Our next speaker is Bruce Hooper, Chief Geologist of Noronex Limited. Bruce is a geologist with extensive experience spanning the base metal, precious metals and energy sectors across 5 continents. Bruce has been involved with a number of significant discoveries in Australia and internationally. Most recently, he was the Chief Exploration and Business Development Officer at Samphire Resources. During this period, he was seconded to be president of Tatina Resources based in Montana, USA, and completed the Mod Resources acquisition in Botswana. Prior to 2012, Bruce worked for a variety of companies including BP, Rio Tinto, North Limited, Straits Resources Limited, Pirella, Iviana, along with both private and public board roles. Bruce is currently the Chief Geologist for Noronex and consults as BMB Resources and is an ambassador for the charitable organisation Teach, Learn, Grow. I just want to welcome Bruce to the stage.
Thank you very much to be able to talk here at the Namibia Forum. And Anguli, let's see if I can get this one right on that one. Oh, the other hand. Okay, there we go. I was reminded last night, our JV partner, Flowey Haino, she visited Perth when she was 5, and she took a trip out on the river, and she said to her parents, "This can't be a river, it's got water in it." So Namibia is slightly different, but fantastic place to work, beautiful country, beautiful people, and a great infrastructure and a mining history. So we're very pleased to be here exploring in Namibia, looking for the next big copper deposit. Noronex is a ASX-listed junior explorer. We've got a small 10 million tonnes at 1.3% copper resource just to the east of the capital of Windhoek, and a significant large exploration package that covers a highly prospective belt all the way out to the Botswana border. We've got a drill rig working at the moment, drilling at our Fiesta project, and announced this week an intercept of 45 metres at 1% copper equivalent, and that's got us very excited, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on our work going on in that drill program. New copper discoveries are a critical part for the world to meet the growing need for electrification, and we're trying to help there. One of the issues has been the number of discoveries over the last few years. The history of big discoveries has slowed. But interestingly, Kamoa in the Congo, which is a sedimentary copper style thing in the Central African Copper Belt, has been one of the largest ever and will be shortly the second largest copper producer in the world after Escondida. Botswana, across the border from Namibia, has, we heard a little bit yesterday, got some great developments happening and been able to do it in reasonably fast time zone, with the Mateo discovery made by Julian Hanna and Mod Resources being just 7 years from the first discovery hole to now producing copper and exporting through Namibia to Walvis Bay. So we think we're in the right place to find a large copper deposit. Sedimentary copper deposits are a really vital part of the world's copper production. Porphyry coppers along the Pacific Ring of Fire and through Chile and Peru especially, some of the biggest producers. But sedimentary coppers produce nearly 20% of the world's copper, really out of 2 districts, Poland in Central Europe and the Central African Copper Belt. Those deposits are high grade and they're large. And they are generally in reasonably benign locations to open copper mines quickly, not being in high rainfall, high mountain regions with high population densities, as is found around the Pacific Rim. So what's been proved by the discovery in Kamoa, which is now 1.7 billion tons at 2.5% copper, is that we really need to find more of these deposits, and we need to start looking undercover. The Kalahari Copper Belt, and we heard from Matteo and Sandfire yesterday, which is now in production and looking to ramp up from 30 to 50,000 tons, and the Khoemacau deposit, which is currently producing at 60,000 tons of copper, and they're looking to expand that to 130,000. Significant size deposits, significant grade. That picture shows the 3 portals going into 5 declines that are needed at the Zone 5 deposit with Khoemacau. The style of deposit make for either open pit or continuous mining underground in consistent large strike length deposits. So Noronex straddles the border. It goes across where the belt comes through from Botswana into Namibia and swings down just to the south of the capital, Windhoek. And we've now got a very significant land holding across that area, which has up to 100 meters of Kalahari desert sands over the top, but that's something that we're very used to in Australia here, and we're now consistently exploring at depths much greater than that, looking for cover, through cover. The mineralized horizon there is very consistent, it's very extensive. You can pick it from the aeromagnetics, as we'll show in the next slide. And we're looking to target specific structural traps where that copper can get deposited, often replacing hydrocarbons in domes or in other reductant sequences. But we just target that one horizon where really all of the known copper so far in this belt has been found. So this is the airborne geophysical map that links the government data that the Namibian government has flown and the Botswanan government has flown. And there you can see the known copper deposits in Botswana. Some were outcropping on the eastern end, and they've now gone, found Zone 5 under 20 or 30 meters of cover, now got into Matteo under 30, 40 meters of cover. And we're starting to explore over that sort of 500 kilometer belt that's got less than 100 meters of cover, but has had very limited exploration on it. And we think we've built a significant land tenement as that comes across into Namibia. And then on the western end there, where our Witvlei project is, it outcrops again. So that zone of some 500 kilometers or so, same stuff, same looking geological deposit style that continues across that area. And we're taking that challenge to look under that sand cover. This is up against the Botswana border. You can see there on the right-hand side is the Namibia-Botswana border. You can see in the aeromagnetics, the blue is low magnetics. That's areas of sandstone. On that contact between that and the Dakar Formation, which are siltstones, fine sandstones, and shales, you find that horizon that's highlighted in the red that the copper develops upon. So looking undercover, we can find those points in structurally key places to look for those substantial copper deposits, looking at very extensive sheets that can be 3 or 4 kilometers long. So we often step our drilling out on kilometer or 2 or 3 kilometers spacing. And we're currently drilling at the Fiesta project that you can see on the left-hand side there on the western end of our tenements. And we announced earlier this week from a hole drilled just under a month or so ago in an area that had some previous copper intersected by a company called Kuprick Canyon. We intersected 45 meters at 0.8% copper and good silver at 23 grams per ton of silver, which makes about a 1% copper equivalent from just 144 meters down hole, so probably 110, 120 meters deep. Those are economics sort of intercepts at economic depths. We obviously need to find substantially more of that, but we're very pleased with this as one of the first holes in this program to find this sort of grade of, and thickness, the thickness being a key one there, style of mineralization. We're drilling on now. We've probably got, with this, there's probably 4 sort of economic length, thickness of intercepts over about a 500 meter zone. We're looking to extend that, to push that out both to the east and west along that same horizon and expand that to a size that would be significant enough to open a large modern world-class mine, as has been done across the border in Botswana. There are a number of other very good intercepts, like 8 meters at 2.5% copper from previous drilling with really impressive silver numbers around the 70, 80 grams per ton silver. So we've got the rig turning now. The team out there, led by Rianne, are searching those spots, and we're hoping for further good news over the next few weeks. Those systems can be very extensive to depth. At Khoemacau, they've drilled now down to about 1.2 kilometers depth. So we can look not only on the strike length, which is really what we can do with our current sort of budgets and style of drilling, to looking to see if we can extend those sheets down dip and follow them to depth. After that, we're going out actually onto the border. We drive up the border road again along a power line that's been put into the GAM town. And we've got a number of targets there undercover that we've planned to drill in the next month or so. And they'll be real wildcats. That's the first time anyone has been out there drilling in that sort of area. But we're really quite confident because we're following that extensive horizon that has had copper on the other side of the border in Botswana, and we're following that across using the aeromagnetic data across the border and interstructural traps that we hope will have significant copper zones. And again, expect roughly 70 meters or so of Kalahari sand on top. Water bores drilled recently in that area suggest sort of 60 or 70 meters of sand. So we're confident we can explore and look under that sort of depth. At the western end, where we sort of started this journey a couple of years ago, we've got about 10 million tons at 1.3% copper. That's hosted in 3 separate deposits, about 10 kilometers apart. We need to expand that and increase that amount. We'd love to double or triple that. And our first programs had defined a project called Darheim, where we got in our first hole there 27 meters at 1.6% copper, and we've been following it up and now drilled about 25 holes or so and found yet another deposit in that belt in that area. So we'll continue to do more work on that. We'll continue to try and bring that up into something that can be mined as well. The last hole there we drilled just February, I think. We drilled Diamond Core to try and get a better understanding of the system and hit 130 odd meters at 0.3. That changes the whole idea a little bit from looking at these thinner, higher grade zones to whether it's worth a bigger bulk mining type thing to look at those sorts of 100-meter size intercepts at slightly lower grade, and we'll continue to do more work on that. So the team, led by James Thompson, who's here at the back, who's our executive director, myself, who based here and working, and Rianne and Iva in Namibia running the programs for us. So over the last couple of years, we've really managed to keep rigs turning sort of 8 or 9 months of the year and continue to have success out on the copper belt. But it's been tough on market capitalization and raising money to do those. So we think we're in a fantastic position now on a very small market cap with a great foothold there to really turn some value into this corporation. So wrapping up, we'll finish this 4,000 meter or so RC drilling program on our 100% owned projects. These projects we pegged just 18 months ago. We've put them through the environmental clearance. We've had them granted within a year or so, and we're now being able to get out there with drill rigs. We've also pegged other areas which we'll push on through to try and get them granted and an ability to get the drill rig out on there. So we'll focus on these high copper results that we've got at Fiesta, more of a greenfield at the blowhole, and then look to keep unraveling the district and finding more copper. So thank you very much.